How's it going, guys? It's the Cranky Yankee again here. This is just a little, sorry for the, I'm before work here. Had a subscriber suggest that I do some hockey news stuff. I haven't really been following that too much because there hasn't been a whole lot in the off season. I mean, Carlson got traded to San Jose. We're all aware of that. As a side note to this, I think I am going to be doing more news videos like this. However, it's going to be only certain teams. I'm gonna cover Pittsburgh, big stuff in the Pittsburgh. I'll do more, probably game scores, things like that once the season starts. I'm also going to be covering Florida because they're my second favorite team, and also there's not a lot of people who cover the Panthers on YouTube, so I'm gonna kind of have that be more my priority than Pittsburgh, just because we have people like Alyssa Hope likes to cover the Pittsburgh Penguins. Yins are on hockey. If anybody, you guys are Pittsburgh fans and you like really in-depth, even minor signings, little things, every little bit of news about the team, follow Yinzer on hockey. He's a great guy, Justin Yinzer. He's cool. He's very informative, very knowledgeable. I could not do justice to anything that he does. This is mostly just going to be my opinions on it. I'm not going to go into crazy big depth on everything. Obviously right now I can't use the whiteboards. I'm in the car. I got about a half hour here before I need to punch in for work, so I figured I'd do a little quick news video. Start off with Pittsburgh. Not a whole lot's happened. We did sign Jack Johnson. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm not optimistic. However, there's been many players who have come into Pittsburgh who have kind of looked like, are they NHLers anymore? Are they going to be NHLers? Do they really, belong in the league? And then they go to Pittsburgh and they flourish. I mean, Jamie Alexiak, I was very upset when they traded him last year for Ryan Reeves because I'm a big Ryan Reeves fan. However, he did do solid. He's a good top six defenseman. My guess is it's going to be him and Jack Johnson the beginning of the year in that 5 and 6 position. I think Alexiak's a good bet for that top 6 role. Jack Johnson could be as good as a top 4 depending on the season that he has, but like I said, that remains to be seen. However, one good thing Pittsburgh does have is Sergei Gonchar, who some of you guys know, retired as a Penguin, was a very successful defenseman, played for Pittsburgh for a while. He's now one of their coaches on the defensive end. Maybe him and Gonch can get together and he can find his game again. I hope that's what would happen. Defense is a bit of a weakness for the Pittsburgh, probably one of the bigger weaknesses. A lot of people would argue that Murray is a weakness. I don't think so. I think he had an off year last year based on what happened. I mean, he lost his dad. That's enough to mess with anyone's head. So I don't think that necessarily that that's what he is. I think that he is what he's been for the last few years. I think he is a solid, possibly elite goaltender. I don't know as though he's elite, but he's definitely on the high end of a starter. And I think that he is a solid goalie going forward. And we have Tristan Jarry, who I also am a big fan of. I think he looks really good, and him and Murray going forward could be a really solid goalie tandem. All right, that's it for Pittsburgh for now. Let's go to Florida. Florida has picked up Matt Hoffman from Ottawa. We all know Ottawa traded Matt Hoffman to San Jose. San Jose then immediately flipped him to Florida in a deal precluding the Erik Karlsson deal, which is oddly enough, they traded with San Jose again. So I don't like the big drama that happened between Hoffman and Karlsson, or Hoffman's girlfriend and Karlsson's wife. I hope the Florida can keep him in check, because on the ice, I think he is a very good goal scorer, and he could be a welcome addition to that top six core in Florida, which already we have Trocheck, Barkov, Huberdeau, Dadonov. I mean, there's 4 guys right there who are really good, really underrated forwards in the NHL. And everyone wrote Dadonov off years ago. I remember watching like NHL 13 and 14 gameplays with Johnny Superman and a bunch of other people, and everyone was talking about how Dadonov, he ain't shit. He's a KHL guy. He's not ever going to do good in the NHL. And then he comes in Florida. He's doing great in Florida. Another note, Barkov Alexander, a.k.a. Sasha, who a lot of people know that Sasha is actually a Russian nickname for anybody who's named Alexander. Sasha Barkov, who's probably my personal favorite on that team, has been named the captain. So we've got Yandel, Trocheck, Huberdeau, and there's one other guy. I forget who the fifth guy is. But we got Barkov's the captain, and then they have two guys who are home alternates and two guys who are away alternates. I don't know off the top of my head which at that point right now. And that's it for Florida. Not a lot of big moves in Florida. They picked up Troy Brouwer too. Good. Could be a bottom six forward for him, a good fourth, maybe third liner. We'll see how he turns out. He's on the older side. I think he's 33, so he's not necessarily a young guy. He's not super old, but his career's kind of winding down, and he could fit well into that bottom six forward core that Florida has. The third team that I will be covering from now on in the news will be the Pensacola Ice Flyers, which is my hometown team. Well, not my hometown team. My hometown's back home in Vermont. But my current town that I live in, city that I live in, our local Southern Professional Hockey League team, the Pensacola Ice Flyers. Now, for those of you who follow my Mobile Mystics, be a GM from NHL 18, we had two of those players on our team. Now, they were in NHL 18. They were in the East Coast Hockey League. And that is Sean Bonar. Yes, it's Bonar time. I always like to say that. And Steven Rahoriak. Now, Sean Bonar has re-signed with Pensacola. However, a lot of people are thinking that even though he re-signed with Pensacola, he's probably going to be getting called back up to Atlanta again next year. Possibly Atlanta. He played almost the entire season for the Atlanta Gladiators last year in the East Coast Hockey League. He played, I think, 6 games for us last year, was really good, and then immediately got called up and played the rest of the year as their backup. Backup or starter. So Rahoriak not coming back. I haven't heard anything about him. Bonar has re-signed. We don't know yet if he's going to be playing with the team or if he will get another call-up again. Another guy that has re-signed, TJ Sarcona. He's was one of our third or fourth best scorer last year. He's a veteran. He's in his 30s. He's relatively young guy, but he's considered a veteran in the league. Really solid second, third line guy. Lots of grit, but has some good hands, some good passing, and can definitely put the puck in the net. Another one we have, our big boy, I call him the big cheese, Nathan Briere. Not to be confused with the guy who's played for Pittsburgh, or played for Philly. No, this is a young kid. I think he's like 24. Nathan Briere. I believe he's from BC. Big kid. I think he's like 6'4", 6'5", big defenseman. He's one of the biggest kids on the team. Good defensive player. Not crazy offensive, but a decent shutdown guy. He's re-signed. And my personal favorite player, Garrett Milan, no word yet if he's signed. I actually messaged the Pensacola Ice Flyers Twitter, I made a comment on one of their posts about who was getting re-signed, and I actually said, any word on Garrett Milan, any word if he's going to be coming back to the team. And apparently he's playing in Germany right now, and not in the DEL, but I think it's in like one of the leagues right below the DEL, so it's not the Premier League, it's right below the Premier Hockey League in Germany. So he's playing over there right now, although they did say a lot of players will come back halfway through the season, so my fingers are crossed, and maybe Garrett will be coming back to Pensacola, back playing on the beach in a bit. He was their top scorer last year, one of the best players in the entire league. He's a small guy, not a big kid. I think he's like maybe 5'8", 5'9", small kid, really fast, good hands, really good passing. Not a huge goal scorer, much more along the lines of a playmaker, but I really like his game, and I'm really sad to see him go. At the same time, Garrett Milan, I know that I doubt you're going to watch this video, but you never know. You may come across in the future. But here's the thing, I'm glad to see that you're playing in Europe. I know that in Europe you can make a lot more money than you can here in the States. Unfortunately, the competitiveness is a bit different. You're playing with older guys, younger guys. There are a lot of former NHLers that play. A lot of guys who were kind of fringe NHLers who couldn't quite make it in the NHL, but can excel in the European leagues. I know that they treat you really well in Europe. The money can be a lot better, and your housing is paid for, your travel is paid for. Like they take good care of you in Europe. So no, I don't blame you at all for wanting to play over there. I know that you've played in Europe in the past. I know that you'd spent some time in Germany. You spent some time playing in the EIHL, the English Hockey League. But we'll hope to see you back here on the Gulf Coast sometime in the future. Hopefully back maybe sometime through the season you'll come back and you'll play for us, and maybe you can bring us another President's Cup. President's Cup, not President's Trophy. In the SPHL, what we have is the championship cup is the President's Cup, not the President's Trophy. President's Trophy is awarded to the NHL team that had the best best record of the regular season. But yeah, that's about it for me. That's all I have for now. That's mostly just what I could think of off the top of my head. I will be covering these 3 teams, but like I said, I haven't done a lot in this offseason because honestly, Florida and Pittsburgh have been kind of quiet. Other than, like I said, Hoffman going to Florida, which is kind of old news at this point, but I'm really excited about that. I hope that his girlfriend can keep herself in check and keep her mouth shut, because that shit she was saying was just not okay. And, I mean, they have a peace bond, which is the same thing as a restraining order, which tells me that there's definitely something going on. They aren't just going to give a restraining order against somebody because he said, she said, this, that, and the next thing. There's going to have to be some kind of evidence to show that this person could be considered a threat to this person's health, this person's mental health, their physical health. There's some kind of threat or harassment going along with that. So hopefully that's done now. She keeps to herself now and doesn't start picking fights with other people in Florida, because I can tell you right now they won't stand for that. But I think as far as Florida goes, the future looks very bright for them. We've got some great young prospects there. Not to mention we got Aaron Ekblad too. I forgot to mention Ekblad, who's really good. Him and Yandel are, Yandel's on the older side of him, but him and Ekblad are a really good 1-2 guy for that defensive core. So the future is bright for Florida. As always, the future is bright for Pittsburgh. As always, yes, Malkin and Crosby are getting a little older, but we have lots of good young players coming up, and Pittsburgh is known for development. The Ice Flyers, I don't know. I haven't really seen their final rosters yet. Once I see the final rosters, I'll try to delve a little bigger, look at some statistics, see what some of these guys who I'm not familiar with look like, how I think they could produce on this level. But right now, I know that we have Sarcona and Briere coming back. They've had some other signings of players that I'm not familiar with. I know they're veterans, so they're I don't know if they've played here or not before, but we'll see what's done for that. But that's it for me right now. I'm the Crank Yankee. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you guys have any opinions on any of these, I'm mostly thinking more on the Pittsburgh and Florida guys, because I don't know how many of you that watch actually follow or are familiar with the Pensacola Ice Flyers, but I know that I will educate you guys more as the season comes along. I know I did a little bit about it last year. I did some videos of some of the games me and Katie went to. Me and Katie will be going to more games this coming season. It is kind of a date thing that we do. We try to get at least a couple games in a year. It's not too expensive. It's like $20-30 a ticket. So I mean, it's not a lot of money, but you have to save a little bit for it. But I mean, still, for a hockey game, good hockey game, it's not NHL, but it's good. These guys are good players. It's enjoyable. They have a good time. They have all kinds of fun stuff. The mascot's great and everything. It's a good time. I recommend anybody go see a minor league hockey. Minor league hockey's great. Support your minor league hockey teams. You do, because these guys are in it for the love. They're not in it because they're trying to make $1 million. A lot of these guys in these minor league teams, they're in it because they love to play hockey, not because they're trying to get rich. And you should support them for that, because you know what? We should all be lucky to have our job be something that we love to do. But that's it for me, guys. I'm the Crank Yankee. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.